Hey, how's it going, everyone? So, it's been well over a year since Blaster Blade The Vanguard was revealed, and we finally now have it in English, which means I finally get to update my Majesty Lord Blaster deck. Wow, I did not know when this was going to happen. Honestly, it got to the point where I didn't even think we were going to get this card, and it was just going to be lost in promo hell. But we're finally here, so let's get right on into the deck. Hey, how's it going, guys? It's TheInfinityBreaker, bringing you a very long-awaited deck profile. As you can see, it's Majesty Lord Blaster. So let's get right on into it. We have our ride line sitting out in front of us. It's just the standard Majesty Lord Blaster ride line. We have our Wingle Brave for our starter, just for nostalgia purposes. Also, we can call it out with Marin if we whiff on the search. We have our Marin, which lets us check top 7 for a blaster, which is even more consistent now that we have more targets. We have Blaster Blade. Some people have been trying out Blaster Blade The Vanguard in the ride deck. Honestly, I still prefer having the original Blaster Blade in the ride deck. The reason is because you still need Blaster Blade and Blaster Dark to get Majesty Lord's full abilities. If you run Blaster Blade the Vanguard, yes, you get access to Majesty Lord Blaster being an 18k base, but on the other hand, that means you need 2 pieces instead of 1 to get the full effect of having your extra 2000 power and crit. So I honestly think it's better just to keep the Blaster Blade in the ride deck. And then to finish off, we have Majesty Lord Blaster himself, the original boss. Which, he is going to be much more deadlier now, especially because, thanks to Blaster Blade The Vanguard, he's going to be an 18k base, along with his additional 2000 power he gets for having Blaster Blade and Blaster Dark in the Soul. He's going to be swinging for 20k base. On Persona, that's going to be 30k, not including any boosts. That's also on your opponent's turn, so he's going to be just 20k. He's much more deadly, especially with that extra crit. So, it matters now. Much, much more. Your opponent is not going to want to be hit by this. Your Vanguard is definitely a threat. But that's the ride deck. We're going to be moving on to the main deck. For my only grade 3s in the deck, I run 3 Persona rides. Like I said before, your Vanguard's going to be at a much higher power level than it was before, so bringing that power level even higher, up to 30k, definitely matters. Personas are insane, numbers definitely matter, and we can search this out thanks to Ordeal Dragon. So, yeah, Persona rides. And then along with the 1 copy in the ride deck, I do run an additional 2 copies of Blaster Blade in my main deck. I don't run 3 just because we have 1 in the soul already, and we have so many different blasters that I think 3 is a little overkill. 2 is good. You can still search it off Ordeal Dragon, Emmeline, and Marin. You do want to have an additional 1 in the soul, especially if you're going to go with the Cordelia play, but I think running 3 would be too much. Running 2 gives you more space for other cards. But he is still our avatar, our Boku no Bushin. And then you can't have your Blaster Blade without your original edgy avatar, Do Not Steal. I run 4 copies of Blaster Dark. Finally got SPs. My whole ride line is SP too, which is really nice. I'm hoping to get either the frame rares or hopefully another 2 SPs of Blaster Blade so I can finish it out, but that's going to be down the road later on, especially now that I have Alfred to focus on too. But Blaster Dark, he is the darkness to our light. He gives Majesty access to our triple drive, and he definitely lays on pressure. So he's the one you definitely need to have in your hand. You want to search him out, especially if you're going off of Ordeal Dragon, Marin, or Emmeline. He is probably one of the most important pieces of the deck still. So you do want to max out copies on him. And finally, Blaster Blade The Vanguard. We run 4 copies. This card, guys. This card. I didn't think we were going to get it. it had been over a year. I just didn't think we were going to get it. And we finally have it. And it helps the deck so much. Especially after playing Deer Days 2 and having access to this card. Having to go from Deer Days to playing this deck IRL was always such a struggle, because it was just like, this card helps the deck so much. When it's in your soul, your Majesty Lord gains a base power of 18, as we already went over. And then it gives access to a potential 4th and 5th attack in the deck to help keep up with most modern Vanguard decks, which are swinging 4 to 5 times. It also creates a stronger column for your Emmeline, which is an additional 5k every time a blaster attacks. This card is amazing. It's definitely a homage to Exculpate. The art itself is from the manga, if you guys have ever read it. And honestly, I love just seeing a modern Blaster Blade card that isn't an encounter without the, as much as I love the black and gray borders, I definitely like this style of cards more. But this card is amazing. So at the end of the battle, your grade 3 blaster attacks. You bind your Vanguard, ride this card as stand, and it gains 5,000 power. Then you can Energy Blast 3 and retire one of your opponent's rear guards. It's an extra Vanguard attack. And then, the best thing about it is the power. Majesty was already... The 15k base helped, especially when guarding. It turned your 15k shields into 30k shields. So this just makes it even better. This card is insane. I'm glad that we finally have it, because I'm going to be honest, I really didn't think we were going to get it for the longest time. So I'm just happy to have it in my hands, especially after buying it from pre-sales and seeing it shoot up in price. Yeah, I'm glad I bought it when I did. So I'm really just happy to have it. So you want to max out on 4 of this. It's the key piece of the deck now. And the next card isn't a blaster, but I call her an honorary blaster. I run 4 copies of Knight of Inheritance Emmeline. So Emmeline is still super important. She is your beat stick of the deck. Every time a blaster unit attacks, she gains 5,000 power. But when she is placed from hand, you can Soul Blast 1, look at the top 5, either call a blaster, or you can add a blaster to your hand and discard a card if you did. So what she does is she gets this to your hand, which really helps. Any way to get this to your hand is so beneficial. So, before she was great to get your Blaster Dark, but now she can get you your Blaster Blade The Vanguard. So she is just still one of the best cards of the deck. She gets even stronger now that you can make more blaster swings too. So, still want to run 4. She's great. I hope I can get a higher rarity copy of her soon, because she's still one of my favorite cards in this deck. Moving on to my grade 1s, I run 3 Perfect Guards. You can run any art you want. I run this one because it reminds me of Epona, if you remember old Vanguard. And then I'm also running 3 Knight of Old Fate Cordelia, however you pronounce it. So I don't find myself using her skill as often as I did before, but she is still a very good part of this deck. It gives you access to a 4th attack, 5 attacks if you're able to do this and Blaster Blade the Vanguard in the same turn. She also gives all of your grade 2 units boost, so you can hit for stronger columns, especially if you have 2 Emmelines in the same column. She is still great. And yes, you can use her skill and Blaster Blade the Vanguard skill in the same turn. They both will be able to pop off of each other, which is definitely nice. That's how you get the 5th attack. She's still definitely a great card. Another card that has become much better now that we have more targets is Ordeal Dragon. This is your searcher. If you have Blaster Blade and Blaster Dark in your soul, he gains 5,000 power, so he's a 13k booster and attacker. And then at the end of the battle, he attacked or boosted. You move him to soul, look at the top 7, and you can add a card with Blaster in its name to your hand. Like I said before, any way to get Blaster Blade the Vanguard, even your Persona rides, is great. So, we love to search. That's probably the easiest way to play this deck, is you are trying to mill out as much as you can. Draw advantage is what you want. And yeah, you're trying to push for numbers, so Ordeal Dragon is definitely one of your best friends. I love seeing this, especially on my first turn. If I can swing with this, then swing with Marin, it's definitely nice. Most of the time I'm able to get my Blaster Dark or my Blaster Blade The Vanguard and I'm ready to go. And honestly, this is kind of my flex slot. There are other cards you can run. I am running 3 copies of Surgeon. Surgeon is still really good. I don't really run orders in this deck, but any early game advantage that you can get to pop off this skill is honestly great. We all know Surgeon. You know, if you played an order this turn, or if you have more rear guards than your opponent, gains 5k when it boosts, and then you retire himself, look at top 2, add 1 to your hand, put the other on the bottom. Like I said, adding cards to your hand, card advantage, you want to find all your key pieces. It's definitely a flex slot. Another card you could run is Biscotti. That's something I've been kind of testing out. But yeah, I would say this is my flex slot of the deck, but Surgeon is still really good, especially, you know, it's a dog, your Royal Paladin energy, that's what I say. He's still a good boy. And then my next card is 2 copies of Battle Sister Coco. I really want to bump this up to 3, so what you can do is you can take out a Surgeon and you can run the 2 Biscotti. I think 3 is good for this because what you can do with Coco is you can cheese out the Blaster Blade The Vanguard early, especially if you open like 2 copies. You can use Coco to put an extra copy into the soul, and then it'll be ready for when you read your Majesty Lord. This card is insane. She's really gone up in price. I had to get more copies of her for Alfred, and oh boy, it's yeah. I had to break up my playset originally, and yeah, now it's been tough. But she's super good. If you have a Vanguard with only 1 clan, you take a card from your hand, put it into your soul, look at the top 2, put 1 into your hand, put the other on top of the deck or into the soul. If you put it into the soul, she gains 5k. She also has the ability of, whenever your opponent would damage check or pull a trigger, she gains 10k power or 10k shield. So also very good. I think she's a super, super great card. Super important. She can cheese out a lot of abilities, and I really do want to bump her up to 3. She's just really expensive right now, but if you have the cards, you have the cards. But she is definitely a very important piece of this deck. It's weird having Oracle Think Tank inside Royal Paladin, but you know, this is modern Vanguard, so yeah. And to finish off for our normal units, I run 1 Topaz. Shield is nice, able to look at top 5, call something. Mostly it's Blaster Dark I'm looking for, but, you know, I'll take the shield whenever I can get it, especially because of how numbers are in Standard. So, yeah. Moving on to triggers, I run 4 Vanilla Crit, and then 4 Effect Crit. That's pretty standard. Your Vanguard is already swinging for a 2 crit base, but this really does just help finish and push games. What can I say? Crits win games. So, 8 crit. I'm running 3 effect draw, I should specify, honestly. Shield is nice, but drawing pieces is what we really need. That's honestly why I've still stuck with draws. You could try fronts. I would honestly play fronts just for more shield, but I like to draw cards and I like to see my pieces early. And then I run 4 vanilla heals. Effect triggers are always personal preference. I say it depends on your locals. I find just having a straight 15k shield is better than if X happens. So that's my triggers. Oh, actually, one more. My overtrigger, I am running the yellow one. So the reason why I run yellow instead of blue is because we retire a lot, especially when we suck up Blaster Blade and when we use Blaster Blade The Vanguard. You can also use Blaster Dark skill. So you do retire a lot. And, you know, with this card, for every 2 open zones your opponent has, you get to draw a card. And it retires all your opponent's rear guards. So when you're swinging with a 2 crit Vanguard and you retire your opponent's Guardians, this is just, yeah, I think you can see where I'm coming from. It's a little dumb. It's definitely won me a few too many games, but I think this is honestly the best one for Majesty Lord. Blue is still good, honestly. I played blue forever, but I really like to draw cards, as I've said multiple times, so I think this is my personal overtrigger of choice. It's always whatever you guys want to play, of course. This is just my list. So those are all of my triggers. We'll go on to my orders. For my Regalia's piece, I have chosen Radiance Caliburn. I like to draw cards. It's a Pot of Greed, and it's a countercharge. I don't have access to countercharge in this deck, which I don't really counterblast that often, only if I'm really spamming Blaster Blade's ability, which is very rare, I will be honest. I don't really use Blaster Blade's ability, I normally just use it off of Majesty Lord. But Cordelia and Blaster Blade the Vanguard, those are going to be eating up your counterblast a lot, especially if you want to go for 5 attacks in one turn. So this is really the only way you have to countercharge in the deck, so this is my one of choice. Any Regalia's piece is really good, Twin Cast is good if you want more shield, but I think this is very fitting, especially with it just being a sword. So, Radiance Caliburn. And then one Elementaria Sanctitude to finish off my perfect cards. So, that is the list. I still can't believe I finally have this card. The deck is so fun to play. It really does pop off. It is not meta by any means, but it's Blaster Blade. He is my avatar. I love Blaster Blade, and I'll continue to play Blaster Blade. I do have Alfred built. I did make a post about it previously, so that will most likely be my next deck profile. But I really wanted to do this one first, just because we've been waiting for so long, and I've been talking about this card even in my last deck profile. But we're finally here. There are a few changes you can make, like I said, if you wanted to swap out Sergeon with Biscotti. And, you know, if we ever... Actually, you know, there is a generic Keter countercharger coming out pretty soon, so that might actually be an additional slot that you can throw in for more countercharge. It does Soul Blast too. We build up quite a soul with this deck. I think that would be an additional great card to fill in. But for right now, this is the deck. Not meta by any means, but can it pack a punch? Is it very consistent? Yes, and I have a lot of fun with it. So if you're an old school Vanguard fan like I am and super nostalgic, it's a great deck to try out and build. But thank you guys so much for watching. I should hopefully have some more videos coming soon. I know I go like year-long gaps between videos, but thank you for staying with me, and I hope you can stay tuned and check out future videos. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.